Now, TSPN is proud to present Art and Culture with Kathleen Ball on TSPN.
Good evening, everybody. This is Art and Culture with Kathleen Ball, and we have a lovely guest from Costa Rica this evening, and I'm just dying to introduce you, Ruth Bulleman.
Hi.
And we have some wonderful history and a few photographs of Costa Rica, and we have a surprise for you as well.
Oh my God.
So we're looking towards having a really great show tonight. So first of all, I want to kind of go into how I met you, how we met.
Yeah.
We have a mutual friend, a very good friend of mine, Lisa Biaggi, who had gone to Costa Rica, and she had gone there to go to a retreat, and you happened to be working there. That's
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what you do. What did you do at the retreat? Your yoga and all sorts of things.
Yeah, I was a yoga instructor there.
Yes.
And a massage therapist. I gave the kind of massage I'm giving to the clients there, and I was just there to make them feel comfortable and good and bring them good through their ride.
Right, exactly. And you're very effective from what I understand.
Yeah, I hope so.
From the people that I spoke with that attended the retreat. So,
yeah, they like it.
Yeah, so what exactly drew you to Costa Rica? You were actually raised in Europe.
Yes.
And spent most of your life in Germany,
That's
correct?
true. I'm born there.
So you were drawn to Costa Rica, and how did that all come about?
I came to Costa Rica to visit my dad there, and I fell in love with the place.
Yes.
I was enjoying it for 6 weeks. It was really serene on this lonely beach there, and I was just floating in the ocean. Yes. And I decided to, change my life up a little bit and go travel, and I wanted always to live on a beach.
Right.
And that's why I went to Costa Rica after a year.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's resulted in 3 years later, you're still living in Costa Rica.
I'm still there.
And you have a successful massage business. You're still teaching yoga and a pearl business as well.
Exactly.
So, and I'm fascinated with the pearl business.
Okay.
And you have example of some of the pearls that you sell, that you design yourself. These are all designed by you. You have your own website, your own business.
Exactly.
And what I'm fascinated about is how that all transpired. You speak 4 languages, correct?
Correct.
Yes. So you went to the Philippines, and you go ahead and talk about that, will you? Tell us all about that experience.
Okay. I went to the Philippines for pleasure, and I found pearls, and I fell in love with the pearls there, and I got inspired all these years before in Costa Rica from the nature, and I started drawing jewelry, pearl jewelry. And I decided to just take a bunch of pearls and bring them with me to Costa Rica and see if it might work there. And it actually does. So now I'm designing the jewelry and making them in the Philippines. And I bring them to Costa Rica to sell them there.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's more to that story. And this is what's really fascinating, folks, is that not only are you doing this and bringing money into the Philippines, which is very, very poor country, but you're also giving back. So talk about that a little bit, because that's just lovely. Yeah,
that was really interesting, because the first time I couldn't really do much for the Philippines, but I fell in love with the people, and the poverty there was really touching my heart. So then after 6 months, I went back to the Philippines to look for different providers and see if I can find a way to actually give back to them. And I was so lucky to meet a woman there on a fair called Manila Fame, and she is Fair Trade International certified. So what she does is she connects to designers and suppliers of jewelry, and she takes those designs and she teaches women from one certain island in the Philippines that got completely destroyed by a flood.
Right.
So she does bring 4 women every week and pays them for that week.
Right.
In that
pays
week,
them well. And
pays them well. Yeah.
That doesn't always happen, but in your case, they're paid very well, enough to where they have an apartment, they can go to the theater.
Exactly.
And,
they enjoy their week there, and they learn those designs from the designers.
Right.
And the next week, 4 other women will come. So actually, all the island there
Right.
knows how to do my jewelry.
Right.
And if there comes a big order, they will all start working, and we give back 35% of all the
35%.
profits to that island to create livelihood. Schools,
Exactly.
food,
That's-
buildings.
This is such a wonderful way to give back and
Yeah.
to share, internationally, because there's so much focus on the international trade, and there's a lot of people capitalizing on this, and they're not giving back. But in your case, and many other people who want to be inspired by your story, could do the same thing. These are things that people can do. These are real things that you do, that you've made a living out of, and a way of life that is beautiful, giving back, and therefore you're successful as a result of this. So, getting back into Costa Rica. So, what I'd like to do is show a couple of photos that you brought of Costa Rica that are just absolutely lovely. So, can we have our first slide, please? This is on the beach.
Yeah, this is on the beach. I sometimes, when I have some free time, I organize women retreats for the weekend, and I take a bunch of women, young women, that have traumas, any kind of traumas from rape or a lot of drugs, and they sign up, and I bring them to the beach, and we have delicious fruits there, and we do yoga all day long and enjoy the ocean.
So this is an example here of a yoga class, an actual
Exactly.
yoga class, and now the temperatures there. Talk a little bit about that. It's
like
much
around-
different than it is here.
Yeah, it's like, actually I'm really cold right now. It's usually between 29 and 35 Celsius.
Celsius.
I don't
so
work
that
in
would translate to
Fahrenheit.
about 75, 80 degrees, 85 degrees.
Yeah,
But you have a high humidity.
very high humidity. It's
Right.
really delicious.
So when we brought you to San Francisco yesterday,
It was crazy. This beautiful beach, and I was like, so
with the
cold.
hat down and the jacket and the
Yeah.
whole bit bundled up,
Yeah.
So, but coming from a tropical place like that, like
Yeah.
Costa Rica, you could really see that. So, let's talk a little bit about the people of Costa Rica, and what is what's the culture about over there? I mean, how do the people typically make a living there, and what types of, houses and what types of food and things do they enjoy?
Okay, so they make their living with agriculture or with the tourism there. So
Yeah.
they're really, really friendly, and they just want to make you have the most beautiful stay and feel really, really pura vida, which they say all the time.
Yes.
And they work on the beaches, they give you tours, they work in the restaurants and the hotels, they give massages too.
Right.
And they just try to make your stay really good. And otherwise, they do, farming.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of farming of coffee and pineapple.
Right.
A lot of pineapple gets exported, and and the city is a little different. They invest a lot in medical education, so we have a lot
Right.
of good doctors there, a lot
Yes.
of
Yes.
very good health tourism to go to Costa Rica.
We have a lot of doctors that are coming in. I see them, in our hospitals and things over here, from Costa Rica and from the Philippines as well, and some of the Caribbean islands and things. And you have a really good education system
Yeah, we
that
do.
teaches them very well. So, and you're lucky. So, what does that do for the people who live in Costa Rica? Do they have access to those same facilities?
Yes, they do. There is a social health care actually existing there that works pretty well. And then, for the upper class, they just have the best private clinics and
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's usually the way it is. That's sort of universal.
yeah, but anywhere, anybody can go to a doctor and get attended and get their medicines, and they have support from the government.
Now, you used the term purida. Can you kind of give us the background on that? There was a background with that. Was that the? Would I
With what?
pronounce it correctly? I mean,
Pura vida?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like the saying in Costa Rica. Like if you say hi, they will say pura vida. If you say like how are you, pura vida. It's just about feeling good and being good. And the historical background for that is that many years ago, like 80 to 100 years ago, I think, in a certain beach area called Guanacaste, there was a sickness. Everybody was dying.
It was a plague.
It was a plague. And it was contaminating everything, and it was no life, like no vida. It was really, really bad. And then missionaries came and brought medicines and made them heal and get, recovered of all that. And from there comes the saying, pura vida, it's pure life,
Pure
health. And from that it comes.
health.
Yeah.
So it's not contingent on if you have a house or a car
No.
or a husband or a wife or any of it. It's
No,
just
it's a
pure
feeling.
life.
Yes.
It's a feeling that we probably don't have an exact translation in
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
But I think it's a beautiful history and a beautiful example of something that stemmed from something so horrible that
Yeah.
means something so lovely.
So lovely and joyful.
So it's developed into a real appreciation of life itself.
Yeah.
And so does that kind of, is that sort of the overall atmosphere, ambiance that you can expect when you
Yeah,
go to
that's
Costa Rica?
totally it. That's
Yeah.
what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So typically if someone wanted to travel to Costa Rica, what would be the typical expenses, say, for housing or hotels and things like that?
Oh, you can find actually anything. You pay about, from here, I think around $900 to get down there. And then you have the hostels, the mid-class hotels. You can
Okay.
rent
Little bit
private
of everything.
houses and really high-end.
Okay,
everything.
well, when we come back, we have a couple of more seconds here, but when we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit more about and show some more photos. You have some lovely photos.
Yeah, I've brought some.
And talk about some history. So
Okay.
we'll see you in a little bit, folks, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes.
Perfect.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
Folks, and we're here with Ruth Bowman, and we're having this wonderful conversation. We were talking a little bit off the air about the varieties and the diversity of the types of places that you can rent over there.
Yes.
So let's reiterate. Let's talk about that
Okay.
and let the viewers know.
Yeah.
You can get these fabulous places. You can get anything you want from youth hostel all the way up, right?
Exactly.
So go ahead.
Like you can go into a hostel for like, if you just want a hammock, $5 a night. If you want a private room, $15 a night. If you want one with a private bathroom, $30 a night. And then usually what young people do, they go and rent a house for a month or two.
Right.
And they can get a nice 2-bedroom house for like $300 to $400, $500.
For a month?
For a month, which is like 5 minutes walk from the beach away. It doesn't have any hot water usually, but
Right.
you can also just buy a tank and put it there and you will have your own hot water.
Yeah.
But it's so hot you don't need it. Like you actually really appreciate a cold shower there. And then, hotels really depends on the season. It starts with $60 a night, 80, $130 for like a nicer place. And then
Yeah.
obviously if you have an ocean view, it will be a little more expensive.
Of course.
You can have a beautiful ocean view house. It's like a little up in the mountain
Yeah.
for maybe $900 with warm water and air condition and a pool, infinity pool and
Wi-Fi,
everything you need.
and
Wi-Fi,
television,
Yeah.
and all the
Yeah.
da-da-da-da-da. So, but I mean, when you go to a place like this, you really want to focus on the beauty of the place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me personally, I like to just sort of go into an area, and I don't spend much time in my room. I like to be out there, and I like to meet the people and connect with people and really see as much as I possibly can. So for someone going over there, you said the flights they run around 800 or 900. Is that about right?
I think so.
And so then they rented a room and shared it with another couple or something. It would be, say, 300 to 500. So that would be maybe 200, 250, and then food prices. So you could really have a very, very nice vacation for a month.
Yes.
For probably $2,000.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
You can. Yeah, you can.
And be able to pick up trinkets and things to bring home. So that's a really reasonable, beautiful vacation.
Yeah, and it's
opportunity.
amazing because there's so much nature around you. So you will see monkeys walking over the street. You will see a lot of birds.
Yeah.
You can go fishing, zip lining. Everything is really local. You don't
Right.
have to go far into the country to do like crazy things, but you can also go and see all the volcanoes, which are like 4 hours away, and then in 2 hours you have a national park, and
Right.
you can just
And
enjoy that.
you have these fabulous turtles.
Yeah, we have
Can
the
we
turtles.
can we see a couple of the slides, please? Let's see the next slide that we have. This is another yoga
Yeah, that was actually on the retreat that Lisa was visiting. We did yoga on the beach that day. That's me teaching.
Okay.
Warrior One.
And next?
That's the sunset. Right after yoga class, you can catch it there, and it goes right into the water in between the two little hills there.
So this is a beautiful sunset on the beach.
Yeah.
And the temperature right now in this particular photo is probably what?
Like 29.
So it would be about 70, 75 degrees approximately.
I don't know. I think so.
So this is an evening, and obviously you see that people aren't wearing, but they're not bundled up. So,
No, never.
You know, it's very comfortable.
You never have to be bundled
Yeah.
up. You usually just wear sandals, a short, your bikini. That's
Right.
it.
Next slide, please. Oh, this is a beautiful
Yeah, that's
scene.
in the day. The water is really calm there. It's like a little bay. Those beaches are little bays, and it's really safe for families. Kids can go in the ocean and just play. The waves are not really high.
Yes.
And there's no sharks. And the water is really warm, so you stay in the water for hours if you want to.
And the water is that beautiful Caribbean blue. When I was in the Caribbean and over in the Bahamas, like this beautiful aquamarine, just incredibly exquisite water that you can see all the way down. And then do you have the white sandy beaches there?
The beaches are not completely white. They're like more beige, and we also have some volcanic beaches. They're black. The Caribbean side is different, right? You cross Costa Rica in 6 hours.
Right.
And you're on the Caribbean.
Right.
The Pacific, which is here, has more beautiful beaches, is safer, much safer, but they don't get that white.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm ready to book a trip.
Come with me.
Probably me and several of our viewers at home, I would imagine, by this time, including our cameraman.
Right.
So, yeah, it just sounds so fabulous. Can we have the next slide, please? I want to get to this turtle because he's just fascinating me. This is a town. This is a shot of a town.
That's in a little town called Nicoya, and people have horses. You'll actually see free running horses and cows all over the place on the streets. You have to be driving carefully.
Yes.
And they love to be going onto their horses, and they have big parties, the fiestas of the toros, which they have like bullfights, and the tope, which they come all with their horses, and they make a whole horse show, and they drink a lot of beer.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's fun.
It sounds like a very lively time.
Yeah,
It sounds like a very lively time. Can we have the next slide, please?
Yeah, that's just me in a yoga posture.
This is a beautiful yoga posture.
Thank you.
Beautiful yoga posture. And you are actually certified in yoga and massage, but you initially were self-taught. You taught yourself in Germany when you were a small child.
Yes, but the massage, I started massaging when I was like 5 years old. I was walking around the back of my brothers and was massaging them. I always loved to touch people, and I felt like, I like to make them feel better. So I started traveling later on, and I kept on massaging friends and family, and that was great. And then I came to Costa Rica, and I did an additional yoga teacher training there.
Yes.
And my yoga master was a doctor and a therapist, and he was giving workshops in massage too.
Yes.
So I was asking him if he could certify me for my massage, and he's like, well, what you doing? And I'm like, well, I don't know, like just what I'm doing. And he's like, okay, so give me the massage and we talk about it, because you would usually have to do the whole workshop, right, which I didn't want to do. And I gave him a massage, and he started crying because he didn't know how I can have like all these different techniques that I do. Like I utilize Reiki, which I got certified in Germany, and then I do Thai massage, Shiatsu, Ampuku, which is it's a 4,500-year-old massage for the stomach.
Yes, and I had that.
Acupressure.
And it was fabulous.
Yeah. I mix all of these things together, but it came natural to me, and he gave me a certification for it right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
Right away. And I could totally see why, having had a massage myself, I really get it. I really understand why they did that. Yeah, that was just fabulous.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
Well, so let's go into a little bit about your history. You have a very fascinating history. You were actually conceived in Turkey, and your parents moved to Germany as a result of. Go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
Germany?
They moved to Germany from Turkey for a reason.
Oh, yeah, it's true. The area I come from in Turkey is really close to Syria and Iraq. It's like there and down in that corner.
Okay.
And my parents were Christian, and the Muslims were making them a lot of trouble. So they were just trying to convert them to the Islam and, shooting people if they wouldn't. And my mom got scared, and yeah, that's why they left.
So you moved to Germany as a result of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you did continue to go back and visit. You had grandparents there.
Yeah,
and
every year.
And they farmed in the old ways. And the story that I just found absolutely just delightful is, and really fascinating, is when one of the men offered your father 25 camels to marry you. I mean,
my grandfather, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it really gives you an image, a picture of how far back in time the culture in Turkey was still, even when you were a child.
Yeah, it was much better. Obviously, in Istanbul, they had like normal bathrooms and everything, but down there, it was really, really. There was like nothing. It's
And this
really
is in
dry.
Midden? In Midden?
In Midden, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. And so talk about the farm a little bit, because that's just lovely. I loved how you were telling me some of the things about the farm.
Okay, so we lived in a stone house, an old stone house with a flat roof,
Right.
because you sleep on top of the roof in
Right.
the open, under the open sky.
Yes.
And that house was surrounded by a big stone wall, and in that wall we had our garden.
Yes.
So he was having fig trees and melons and all kinds of vegetables and fruits right there. And he was farming chicken too.
Yeah.
And each year when I would come for the summer vacation, we would go and buy 10 chickens that would be mine.
Uh-huh.
And I would feed them every morning, and I would water the ground every morning because it's so hot there, right?
Yes.
And one morning I came down from the roof and I woke up. Yeah, it was terrible. I had the chickens running around without a head, still spreading the blood, and I was like, "Ah!" It was terrible. And yeah, I had to like plug the feathers and like learn how to butcher them to eat, because that's how they survive.
Because
right? They
that's
provide
the way
themselves.
it was. This was in Bosnia when we were in Bosnia. My husband and I were in Bosnia. This is some of the things that they're still doing there. You know, people have their own chickens. They butcher their own chickens. They have their pigs, and whatever.
Yeah.
Their animals, and they just do that. It's like it was here 100 years ago in the U.S. Which I think is also returning. People are kind of returning to that.
Which is
I
beautiful.
see that. I see gardens popping up.
Yeah.
When we were in San Francisco yesterday, we saw little gardens, remember? And you were delighted by that. And I was thinking, this is just so normal now, because even 10 years ago, this would not have happened.
Yeah.
But now you see the gardens everywhere in San Francisco. And we see this as we travel through France and Bosnia and everywhere. We saw the gardens are all over. People are growing their own food again, and they have their own animals and things,
Yeah.
And I just think this is so lovely that is coming back.
It's a beautiful lifestyle.
So you were making your own cheeses and
Yeah, I remember my grandma was making string cheese.
beautiful.
Delicious.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. We've got a break coming up, but you would talk a little bit more about the string cheeses and making the string cheeses.
Okay, sure.
This lovely things. It's just really fascinating. If nowadays, this is just so fascinating. A lot of the people here don't get to travel.
Yeah.
So we don't have the culture. So we'll see you in 3 minutes, folks, and we've got some more wonderful stories from Ruth Bowman.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. And now back to Art and Culture with Kathleen Ball on TSPN.
There you are.
Welcome back, folks, and we're going to continue with our story about this lovely story about how you made the string cheese, which is fascinating. It's just fascinating.
Yeah, so they take the milk either from the cow, right, or from the goat, like whatever you like. And she would put a bacteria in it, so it gets like into cheese. But before it gets like really, really hard, she would take it and she would, how is it called, braid it?
Braid it.
like you braid your hair. She would braid it like that, and then she puts it into salt water, to a big bucket of salt water.
Right.
It keeps it soft and delicious. If you take it out for dinner, you just string the cheese off, and it was so much fun as a child to string it off and just eat it like spaghetti.
Yeah.
And she would go, because she loves it, to the markets on Saturdays and sell her cheese there.
Right, and so
Just to hang out.
This was not actually the family income. This was just because your grandmother loved to do this. This
Exactly.
was something that she found great joy in.
Yeah.
And your grandfather was actually a cobbler. He made shoes.
Yeah, he made shoes.
Right,
Yeah.
handmade shoes.
Handmade shoes.
And you had handmade shoes growing
did,
up.
yeah.
What a lovely. I mean, it's so amazing because I noticed there's very few. In Italy, when I was in Italy, there were still some people, and there were still a couple people if you got back into the small towns in France. And this is something I loved. When you got a pair of shoes that were made for you, it's so different
Yeah.
than going into a shoe store and buying a 7.5 or whatever it is that you wear, and you might try on 5 different 7.5, and they're all different, but they're all tailor-made. They're all made on cookie cutter, and these are tailor-made that your grandfather.
Yeah.
So did anyone in the family keep up with that trade, with the shoemaking? Did your brothers or anyone?
No, nobody.
It was lost.
It got lost. Like, we went to Germany, and so this took a completely different path, right?
So life was completely different in Germany.
Yeah, of course.
Very different.
Yeah.
So you want to talk? You speak 4 languages,
True.
which are
Which are German and English.
Right.
I try.
Yeah.
And now Spanish, since I'm in Costa Rica. And I speak Aramaic,
Aramaic. Yes.
because that's what I am, Aramaic. And I speak a little bit of Turkish, but I'm losing it because I'm not really using it.
Right. Do you speak any French at all? Do you have?
No.
No French. No
Yeah.
French. So you do speak German fluently because you live there and
Yeah.
you were raised there.
Yeah.
So let's have a couple of slides. Let's pull the next couple of slides here and see what we've got. Now this is actually
A Costa Rican dish.
This is a Costa Rican dish.
Yeah, it's called the casado, which is really typical. You have a portion of white rice and some black beans that they marinate deliciously, and they put a salad on the side, mostly with avocado, and you can order fish, chicken, or meat on the side, and they have it usually all the time.
All
They love
the time.
it. They love
So
it.
this is something you would find typically if you went to
Yeah.
Costa Rica. This
Yeah.
would be a meal
And it's really
that
good.
you would find. Can we have our next slide, please? Now this,
This is meat.
and I see you smile.
Yeah.
As soon as you say this is meat, and you just light up.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's really beautiful. I don't know how it looks right now, but it looks sort of like that when I was there as a child. All these flat roofs. It just reminds me how you go up to sleep and you sleep under the stars, and it's so beautiful. It's just
Yes.
It's just
Yes.
so
So lovely. And these
it's
these are
home.
ancient. These are ancient homes. They're thousands and thousands of years old.
That's true.
It's not like here in the U.S. where maybe our oldest building might be 250 years old, maybe. In Europe, all through Europe, of course, and especially in Turkey, you're looking at dwellings that are thousands of years old. Thousands of years old. And I love the architectural styles of the buildings over in Turkey.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
That's another place that I'm just really drawn to. I have friends in Istanbul, and I'm just I'm really really drawn to Turkey because of the history. There's so much history. It's just so incredible.
It is.
Can we have our next slide? I want to show this is amazing.
Oh yeah, that's just really, really, really beautiful place. It's Pamukkale in Turkey. It's hot springs. What you see around, it's not snow, it's just salt. And yeah, people go there to bath and hang out the whole day. You bath in mineral water. It's really good for your skin.
Right,
It's
so this is
pretty.
mineral.
The scenery is just amazing. Yeah.
And it's funny that you had this slide because my friend from Istanbul just sent me a slide not too long ago of the same place. It's a different picture.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh my God, I have to go there. And half the people on my Facebook, they all hit and said, we gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
You know.
it's really, really special. Like it's like mystical to go there because it's so wide.
Yeah.
But it's not cold.
Right.
And you always think that. Sorry.
And they always
the white is cold, but it's not.
Right.
You just bath in those warm pools in there, and
right.
it's just really good.
And the color, I mean, it's just like being in a paradise scene or something.
Yeah.
Because you've got this beautiful white rock, and these natural sort of bowls almost.
Yeah.
That are created from the water coming down over probably thousands of years.
Exactly.
And then you have this again, that beautiful aquamarine, almost like a tourmaline color water, and it's warm.
Yeah.
And it's mineral. It's full of minerals.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Just
I
the
mean,
best thing.
how much better can you get? I mean, these places that you've been are fabulous. They're just really, really beautiful places.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
It is a blessing.
It is.
It's a blessing. The way your whole life is sort of fallen out. You know what I mean? It's just really been a blessing.
Yeah.
So let's look at our next slide here.
That's Ephesus. Ephesus, the old Greek city, close to Kuşadası in Turkey. So you go there and you have like leftovers of all these, goddesses and everything. And it's really impressive because they're really big, and you think like, how did they create that? And yeah, you can see there like how much history is actually in Turkey.
Right.
Like how much things were actually going down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And this is everywhere in Turkey.
Yeah.
This isn't just in pockets here and there. This is throughout the whole entire country.
Yeah.
I happen to know of a site that has just been, well, it's been discovered several years ago now, but they're starting to open it up. There's a German archaeologist actually that heads the site, and it's Göbekli Tepe. Are you familiar with that?
I heard it.
12,000-year-old site,
Yeah.
and they're dating now. They're coming up with carbon dating from 12,000 to 20,000 years ago, which is driving the archaeological dating system back. I mean, we haven't typically believed that civilization, went any further back than 5,000 years. That the Egyptians and the Sumerians were our oldest cultures, we're finding out is not true.
Yeah.
We're finding out that right in Turkey and all through Bosnia and that area, and in Iran and Syria, we have much older sites, and they are incredibly exquisite.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
And it's fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's absolutely fascinating to be able to go to these other parts of the
You
world.
can feel it. You can feel it when like that. It's so old. Like it feels so different to be in Costa Rica, where it's not that old.
Yeah.
But if you go to Turkey and down there, like there's some places where you really like feel the vibration, and it's so old. There's so much things happening there. Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. And I've experienced this too with my own travel. It's like you're surrounded by an energy, and you can't really put your finger on it, but it's ancient.
Yeah.
You know that people have walked on that same path that you're walking. Millions and millions of people have walked on that same path for 10,000 years or 5,000 years. I mean, that is an amazing feeling. It's and it adds to the energy of the place, and the beauty and the just that whole romance, that whole idea. And you think about the lifetimes and the families and all the things that have happened in that area. So now in Turkey, you're saying things have pretty much changed, and it's become predominantly a Muslim country.
Yeah.
Same in Bosnia. I found the same thing in Bosnia. Catholic, there were very few Catholic churches, and the Muslim people have really kind of expanded, and taken
They
over.
make a lot of babies.
A lot of babies. A lot of babies.
Yeah.
A lot of babies.
Yeah.
And that was the case in Egypt too. And I was in Egypt, obviously. So it's interesting, though, how culture will change the whole environment of of a place, and things change so rapidly.
Yeah.
But then you still have the people like your grandparents who managed to make it work and stayed there and.
Exactly. They're still there, and they're peaceful there now. And that's beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
And they, you just make peace with the people that you're there with, and that just happens. And, because from what I understand, Turkish history, it's had to do that a few times.
A lot of times, but it's one of our biggest gifts as a human that you are able to adjust to anything you need to.
Exactly.
And you do.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So, so you almost were born in Turkey. You ended up going into Germany.
Yeah.
So you know Aramaic. You speak German. You moved into Canada for a brief period of time.
Yeah.
And then came into Costa Rica, so you learned Spanish.
True.
And English as a result. Did you learn the English in Germany?
Yeah, I had English in school, but I was never really having to use it a lot. So when I went to Canada, I improved it there a lot. That's why they say I have a French accent talking English. I have no idea.
Well, you do. I do hear a little of the French, and that's why I asked you about the French.
Yeah. No, it's because I was in Quebec. That's
Oh,
why.
in Quebec.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, then they
That's
speak,
where I learned my English. Yeah.
Yeah, they speak French there.
Yeah, they
so,
do.
So we have another break coming up here in just a couple of minutes. So when we come back, we have a wonderful scene of the spices and some of which are wonderful. So we'll be talking a little bit about that, and then come back into Costa Rica and discuss some more opportunities and things that you're doing. And you have some things coming up here too.
Yeah.
You're going to be coming back in summer.
Exactly.
So we've got some wonderful opportunities for folks.
Perfect.
So we'll see you in just a few moments, and we've got some more exciting things to bring to you from Ruth Bowman.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
Okay, welcome back, folks. It's Art and Culture with Kathleen Ball and my wonderful guest, Ruth Bowman. So we're going to go to the next slide that we were discussing before the break, and you want to tell us a little bit about, this is a typical spice variety that you would see at a market.
Yeah, you would see a lot of spices there on the market.
In Turkey.
In Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saffron, turmeric, curries, different curries, cloves, a lot, cinnamon. Yeah, just to name a few of them.
Right. And this is how you would find them. Now, is this still today?
Yeah.
This is still in existence?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So very much like a lot of the markets that I saw through the Middle East, you have blocks and blocks and blocks of market.
Big markets.
Big, huge markets, and just spices. I mean, they're piles of spices.
Yeah.
They're all over, and they're fresh, and they're aromatic, and they just smell wonderful. And so you have incenses and things that, so you're walking through these markets, and there are all these wonderful smells, and food cooking, and it's just a wonderful experience. So can you talk about that a little?
It's really stimulating because you have all of these colors, and then you can go and taste everywhere, and they will offer you, and you have all of these different smells, and you have to bargain a lot, so it's actually fun.
Yeah.
Like you can always bargain. When you think you did enough, you can still do a little bit more, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's just really fun, and the people love to be there. Like my grandma loved it just to, see her friends and see new people and see the tourists and just have a good time sharing there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. She loved it. Yeah, and that's the thing that is so nice. And when I'm seeing a little bit of that here now again in the U.S. I mean, we don't have the spices. I haven't seen the spices yet so much, but I have seen a lot of herbs and things. And it's so different when you go to a farmer's market. You go to. We have 4 little around where I live, within a 5-mile radius. We have 4 little farmers markets that I can access.
Nice.
Of course, I live out in the boonies, but. I mean, they're all over, and the people it's just such a wonderful experience. You talk about what's going on, you get caught up on all the local gossip or whatever, and in the meantime, you're bargaining, and getting this wonderful fresh vegetables and trading. It's like I might grow tomatoes and they might grow green beans, and my green beans didn't do so well, but you're trading, that kind of thing. And I see this coming back.
Yeah, and I think it's beautiful. Like, I prefer to go to small farmers markets or do it even on my own. And on those farmer markets, like, you go there and you actually know the people. And you know that they are actually doing this for you. They're sharing what they're doing for their living with you, and they know you. So they, they put their intentions in there.
And they
take care, they do what they love, and all of this is in the vegetable. And you get it, and it's beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's a very different experience from going into, I think we've become so industrialized in the world that we're so used to going into markets. Of course, this is not the case in Europe. I mean, when I was in France at the supermarché, there were very few of them.
Yeah.
Which I was really delighted. In fact, I almost wanted to move to France because of that, because there was a lot more of the smaller markets. But even here now in the U.S., we're seeing a lot more of this. We're really seeing a lot more of this. And I think that, that the influence from Turkey and some of the other countries that have maintained these cultural experiences and practices have really inspired people.
Yeah, kept it alive.
You're right. Kept
Yeah.
it alive and encouraged that, that interconnection between people,
Yeah.
that is so much more fulfilling than walking into a grocery store and, it's just a different experience.
It is,
It's a very different experience.
and you get much better fruits and vegetables,
Right.
local. You know
And-
actually what's in there. And
Yeah, you do, and you're getting a better quality too. Especially with a lot of the GMOs and things that are coming down the
Exactly.
pike today. So we have to be really careful of those things. So here we are. You're in Germany. You go back and visit. Turkey
Yeah.
periodically. These lovely, incredible places. Paradise, and come into another paradise in Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see a lot of the same practices in Costa Rica. Is that correct?
yeah, it is. A lot of local farming. People love it there. It's a lot. You have a lot of variation in the nature, right? So you have mountains, volcanoes, you have the beach. And people love to do their things on their own. There's a
Right.
lot of artisan jewelry makers also too. And yeah, they all meet once a week.
Right.
And it's a big ball.
And you share, and,
share.
and everybody gets the things that they need for the week,
Yeah.
right? And so they shop from week to week.
Yeah.
Now, what is the refrigeration like? Because I noticed in Europe we had very small refrigerators. There was very little that was refrigerated or frozen. People didn't do that. So what is the situation in?
No, they usually don't
Costa Rica.
eat much frozen food, but they have big refrigerators. Like it's really sort of like Americans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, big ones. A lot of food in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So it's the same kind of thing then.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah. But you're shopping from week to week, and
You shop
and
from
getting,
week to week, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And there's more and more organic stores or opening. So you just and they're close by. So everything is close by. It's so small, right? So you
Yeah.
just go,
Yeah.
and if you're running out of something, you just go and get some fresh stuff.
So you have more like little sort of close-knit neighborhoods
Yeah.
type thing. So it would be very similar maybe to San Francisco. I mean, for people who haven't been there, they might get an idea. San Francisco has like little neighborhoods all over, and they
Yeah.
all have their little communal gardens and things, that I'm noticing. And I'm starting to see that kind of pop up here too, up in the mountains here, because many of us that live out, which I do, and we're so far. I'm 45 minutes from Jackson, so there is, there's people are more encouraged now to do these smaller farms and things, and I just think it's wonderful. So, being in Costa Rica, and you're planning on staying in Costa Rica, is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll stay for a little longer.
Yeah. Yeah. But you don't really have, if something came up that was another maybe interesting opportunity, you might go for that, and you might do that as well.
Yeah, generally, I really love Costa Rica. I also have my partner there in Costa Rica.
Right.
So I'm doing my pearl business there, right?
Yes.
And I'm still giving retreats. We have a beautiful property on the beach
Right.
that we're now going to utilize to invite people from other countries
Right.
to enjoy and share with us there and take care of themselves and reconnect
Right.
in a really serene
So
environment.
you actually have a website, but you have an email address. Would you like to give that email address to the people at home here?
Oh, yeah, sure. My email is Ruth, like RUTH, at pearltail.com.
So that's at pearltails.com.
Without the S. Pearltail.
Pearltail.
Yeah,
.com.
exactly.
Okay, that's great. And we'll give that to you one more time at the end of the show too, folks, so just in case you didn't get a pen, get ready. So people can come, you're setting it up where people will be able to come there for a retreat, and they'll be able to experience exactly what?
It actually really depends on the need of the person. So if there is someone that wants to lose weight, for example, or just start a healthier diet. They can choose a certain package, come down there, live in those beautiful beach houses with me, and there will be a nutritionist, and there will be trainers to take care of them.
Right.
We will do yoga, and they can do massages, and just, anything to be really spoiled and focused in the goal that they want to reach.
Right. And these aren't going to be relatively, they're going to be relatively inexpensive. I mean, we're not talking about, $20,000, $30,000
Oh, no.
here. We're talking
No.
a reasonable vacation type budget.
Exactly,
Right?
because I want to make it accessible to everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's lovely. That's lovely because, we have, again, in the world, we have a lot of people that just capitalize. They get a great thing and then they just charge so much that they charge themselves right out of the, right out of the market of
Yeah.
it. So, and then you're also going to be returning here.
Exactly, I'm excited.
I'm really excited. You're actually going to be returning here next summer.
Yeah.
And we'll keep you posted, viewers. All the people at home here will keep you posted on dates and things. But you're going to be coming here, and we're going to be actually designing a retreat here
Exactly.
in Amador County for the people who want to participate in this experience.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to experience massage and yoga,
Meditations,
and Reiki,
Reiki.
and all the things that you teach, and you also have access to the pearls, which are at really reasonable prices. I mean, it's amazing to me. I can't believe the prices that you have for your pearls. So, and then that's a win-win because we're feeding other people
Exactly.
and encouraging them,
Yeah.
to have an income,
Yeah.
generate their own income at a reasonable living salary, which is wonderful. So. I'll be bringing the information when you email me. I'll be able to tell viewers on the show
Perfect.
as
That's
that
great.
comes closer.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to, keep people posted on that stuff.
Perfect.
So, but so far, you have another week here,
Yes.
and you're booked pretty good for this week. But you do have a little bit of time available next week.
I do.
So. You can be reached through the same email address,
Yes.
or would you like to give that to the viewers one more time?
Okay, it's Ruth@pearltale.com.
Okay, so it's PEARTALE.com.
Pearltale, like the pearl.
Uh-huh.
PEARLTALE.
Okay.
.com.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Or can you reach at a local phone number? We also have a local phone number for you folks. It's area code 209-304-7800. So that would be another way to reach you.
Yeah.
Right?
Just call.
Okay, very good. Excellent. And I'll tell you from my own experience that this is the massage of a lifetime. And it helped me, motivate me to get back into my daily yoga because I've been doing it ever since the class.
Yeah.
Every day. So
Beautiful.
we'll see you next month, folks, and we'll have another wonderful show, Art and Culture with Kathleen Ball. And good night, everyone.
Good.
Good night.